Welcome to Modern Media Station. I request Puranik Madam to start the session.
Good afternoon, one and all. Respected Principal, Modern College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Shivaji Nagar, Pune 5, Dr. R.S. Zunzarao Sir, Vice Principal and IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Anjali Sardesai Madam, all Vice Principals, all Heads of Department, PG Coordinators, Assistant Coordinator of Induction Program, Dr. Priyanka Datta Saha, my colleagues, and my dear friends. On behalf of Modern College Shivaji Nagar, Pune 5, I, Dr. Shubhangi Puranik, Coordinator of PG Induction Program, welcome you all for today's session of Professor Narendra Naidu sir. The topic is At a Crossroads. Dear students, I feel privileged and honored to introduce our own Professor Narendra Naidu sir as a speaker. Naidu sir had been working with Modern College till recently in the capacity of Vice Principal and HOD of Zoology Department. Naidu sir has 36 years of teaching experience at undergraduate level and more than 15 years at postgraduate level. He has actively participated in designing of new courses in curriculum of Savitribai Phule Pune University and was chairman of Board of Studies in Zoology. He has completed research projects sanctioned by UGC and another project sanctioned by Missouri. He worked as program coordinator of NSS for 3 years and as area coordinator for NSS of 10 colleges for 2 years. I do not have any doubt to say that Naidu sir was very popular among the students and staff due to his proficiency, the dedication with which he used to teach, and his readiness to help anyone. He is actively associated with many social organizations. He has been associated with Chinmay Mission since his childhood and has worked as regional coordinator of Maharashtra and Goa for Youth Wing of Chinmay Mission for more than 12 years. He was secretary of Chinmay Mission Pune and later Chinswad. He has an active association with Babamte's Anandvan Baroda. He has fascination for Swami Vivekananda's work and has delivered more than 100 lectures on the same on different platforms. Naidu sir is passionate about spiritual and philosophical literature. He conducts personality development workshops for youth and children. As he was punctual, hardworking, and self motivated, he was involved in number of committees in our college. So, students, we are fortunate to hear Naidu sir. Now, I request Professor Naidu sir to deliver his speech on a very interesting topic at a crossroads.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. I am delighted to be back in Modern College to address all the PG students of the first year. And it's a nice privilege for me to get reconnected because I always am happy in the Modern College environment. So at the onset, let me thank all the organizers, our principal, and all of you present here for giving me this opportunity. The topic is very strange and one is not sure what is going to happen in the next few minutes. So I request all of you to join me in this journey to explore, to discover what this topic really means, and also to peep within ourselves to find out where we are in this journey, at which station. Because when you talk of crossroads, it somehow links with ambiguity, it links with dilemma, it links with uncertainty. So let us go through this journey, and maybe at the end of the session, we will be empowered to take some crucial decisions in our life. What is crossroads? It is an intersection of two roads or two or more roads. But idiomatically, it has still another meaning that whenever you are at a station, whenever you are at a junction where you have to take some crucial decisions, which is going to have far reaching consequences in your life, that is also called as crossroads. And so, you people who are listening to me now, you are also at the crossroads of life, of your journey in academics, and of any other pursuits that you are doing. We have all gone through these steps initially, and now this is one of the major crossroads in our life. We are going to come across many more. But at this juncture, I thought this would be a good topic for us to deliberate upon, to think upon. So I'll just have a flow of slides, and along with the slides, I will be giving commentary. And let us see if you, in this process, are able to think for yourselves more than listening to what I am saying. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we are at a crossroads. When I was trying to give a proper title, I was wondering whether this is grammatically correct. Because when you go to the internet also, not everything on the internet is really correct. So there were words like, there were phrases like crossroads decisions, and so on. And I am very glad to share with you that I consulted one of our retired English teachers, and then this is something that came up: at a crossroads. Crossroads is singular, crossroads is also plural. In life, if the journey is very straightforward, a linear journey, that is very simple, because you have a straight road going ahead, which most of us have been doing throughout our lives at whichever stage in life we are. And you also, students, if you look back, you joined a school, you were in kindergarten, then you went on schooling till pre-primary, primary, then came to secondary. So everything is linear. You are marching on the same road, though yes, we are all marching to the unknown. And so in this perspective, you see that the road is having broad, wide base here, and you do not know where it is narrowing down to the future. But at least there is one solace, that it is a straight path. I finished my schooling, then I have 11th, 12th, then you go for colleges, you have graduation done and the post-graduation, and what else? You can still go and continue into teaching or research, then go for postdoctoral. This is what happens in the regular pursuit of life. Sometimes that road may not be so linear. It may take a winding path. But still, this doesn't have any crossroads. It's a straight path, though it is curvilinear, but you have a defined road to pass on. The journey is not coming up with more challenges. There could be some ups and downs. There are some unknown turns. There is winding up, which helps you to unwind yourself also sometimes. So even if you look at life, you start with childhood, you usher into youth, from youth into old age, and even when you are old, when you are young, you get married, you have children. That whole pattern is almost universal and common to all. So that is not very challenging. A linear pathway is never challenging. It can be pressing sometimes, it can have stress upon you sometimes, but still you know that you are reaching somewhere very smoothly. When you have only one choice in life, it is always easier. If I am served with a sweet dish, like what I show in this slide here, it is very easy to pick up. The only choice I have to make is whether I take one or two, or whether I gulp down the entire dish. But I have no choice. If there is no choice left, it is very easy to go ahead. Of course, if I just dislike this sweet dish, then there is a problem. And then I have no choice left except just going away. But given that I like this particular sweet dish, and if it is offered to me like that in bounty, then there is no problem for me. The problem is when you have a variety served. When you have many options, then you have to make choices. When you have no choice, you're choiceless. So here, when we are in life, when we are confronting a situation where many choices stand in front of us, then there is confusion. And especially when that choice is such that I like all the options. When you like all the options, choosing becomes difficult. If something which I like and something which I dislike, then it is easy to wean away from the what I dislike and go for what I like. But what if I am offered by life such options where every option is tempting me to take a journey ahead? This is what happens. Then we are really at crossroads. And now we also are at a crossroad in our academic career, in our pursuits of life. And there we are confused. This way, that way, or the other way, or many more ways. And you feel that you are lost in a way. You feel you are not able to make decisions. Not because you are indecisive, not because you don't have the potential, because at this point of time, you feel that there has to be somebody to coach you. You feel that there has to be somebody to guide you. You feel that something inner urge should help you and guide you. So you are confused, unable to make some decision. And sometimes you're also frustrated. When we reach a dead end and when we reach a crossroad, the feeling is almost the same because a linear pathway still took us round and above mountains and dales and hills and valleys. But when you reach a place where there are diversions, when you reach a place where you stand at a crossroad, then sometimes we may be frustrated. After my 10th standard, I do not know whether I should take arts, science, or commerce. Then, with so many parameters working on me, then I take a decision to take some faculty, say it's arts or science or commerce. Let us take the pathway of science. As I go into science, again, there will be so many people telling me that you could go for medical, you could go for engineering, or you could just do plain BSc, and so many other options. And you choose one and you go ahead. But unfortunately, in this education system, we land up again on a linear pathway. We close so many doors, we close so many opportunities which would have really come our way, and we go the linear pathway, and we feel that we are crossing so many hurdles and obstacles and doing something, but half the world we have sometimes lost. We have lost our passion sometimes on the way. We have lost ourselves on the way sometimes. So, a crossroad in life is a very crucial step, a very critical point in our life where we need to use the signal mode. What is the signal mode? There is a red, there is orange, and there is a green. You need to stop, you need to pause, and then you need to let go. We have no time to stop and pause and think. And if you don't do that, then we are in this stage. We are either confused, totally confused, muddled. The head is muddled. There is uncertainty. We are not determined. We are indecisive. We are perplexed. We are puzzled about what is happening in life. We are bewildered, just baffled, disoriented, at a loss. We are at a loss of our own self. And there is a lot of ambiguity. Whole thing appears unclear, fuzzy, as if you are lost in some cloud and mist. So where am I going? What am I doing? And it is very nice to get lost sometimes, because when you get lost, it is that time you can take to discover yourself again. It is good to get lost. It is good to get into pessimism sometimes, because that will again infuse optimism in us. It is good to get dejected sometimes because that can trigger us to go towards positivity later. Sometimes we reach a crossroad where we are going up the stairs, a linear pathway, and we feel it is so good because it is taking me higher and higher, from 10 to 12 to BSc to MSc to doctorate to postdoctorate to scientist, and it goes on and on and on and on, straight pathway. I'm not criticizing that pathway. I'm just saying the regular pattern that most of us follow. Each one, according to his uniqueness, will do that. But as I go there, sometimes I come across some lateral pathways. Again, I'm at a crossroad. And I have to ask myself, do I belong to a category which has to go higher and higher in a linear pathway? Or can I afford to just skip that and move towards my right or towards my left and have a lateral growth in my life? There are so many people who have opted for that. They just drop a singular pathway and they turn either right or left in their life. And that, when you read great people's personalities and their autobiographies, you realize that these have been turning points in their life. These have been turning points because though they were following a certain groove in their life, at certain point they stopped, they paused, they thought, and they let go themselves afresh and took a different pathway and had a lateral growth. See, trees also have a wonderful message for us. You may be a botanist or you may not be a botanist, doesn't matter. All of us love nature. We may not study nature as a scientist would study, but most of us sitting here love to see the sunrise, enjoy the sunset, love to see the breezes running through the trees and herbs and shrubs, love to see the greenery around in different shades. So if you look at the trees, you will see what a variety of trees. There are some trees which go straight high, vertically, high, higher and higher and higher, almost touching the sky. But there are some trees which move laterally, and they laterally and laterally and give like a banyan tree. They go on with their adventitious root and cover a large area, causing a canopy. That is also growth. Then within this picture also you can see some herbs and shrubs and grasses. That is also growth. I have to ask myself, to which category do I belong? All of us cannot grow vertically. Some of them have to take lateral pathways. Some of them have to be horizontal. Some of them have to have a combination of both. And so, being at a crossroads is good in life because that each time gives your time space and time to contemplate, to ask, what am I doing with my life? When you come at a crossroad in life where sometimes you are in a real dilemma whether your family is important or your career is important, whether your parents, the joint family or unit family, whatever it is, and siblings, whether they are important or your career is important. And you stand between the two and you wonder, especially in India, we still respect the family culture. We still respect that joint families are great. We still understand that that gives a lot of bonding between us. So, if I may go ahead, we have to make the choice. What is the choice I'm making? I have to ask. What is the choice I'm making? Because unless we ask these questions to ourselves, we will not have clarity about our future decisions. So when I'm at a crossroads, I have to ask myself, what is the choice I am making? What is it going to affect? Because it is not only what is the choice, I have to also ask why is the choice. I heard one of our a great philosopher speaking once in Pune. He was addressing a youth gathering and he said there are only two things that are important in life. You have to ask yourself every day, what am I doing and why am I doing what I am doing? So what am I doing and why am I doing what I am doing? So what is the choice I'm making regarding career, regarding friends, regarding some money matters, regarding relationships? I have to ask myself, what is the choice I'm making? That is the first step for introspection. Second, when I go for my choice, it cannot be a very dreamy idea. It should be practical. So I have to ask, what is happening now, and what would I like it to happen? Because life is in a context. Decisions are made in context. There are so many great people who had to drop their education because family was the priority. There are so many great people who dropped the family because something else was the priority. For them, social work was the priority, or some inner call in them was calling them somewhere else. And they had to sacrifice the family, they had to sacrifice friends. There are so many people who had to forego property. So, what is happening now, and what would I like to happen? So, I have to project. I have to project where would I be, and what real difference it would make to me if I don't do what I'm doing now. Most of you now, very soon, will go into for some interviews, will go for job opportunities. There are two types of questions nowadays people ask in these panels, and even management colleges train the students for that. I have also observed many times what my colleagues ask when we are on panels, on the interview panels, even as for teachers. One of the question is, they just start with, please introduce yourself. Now this seems very weird, but the idea behind this is, when I tell some candidate to say introduce yourself, the entire panel is looking forward to see how this youngster, boy or girl, is going to present himself. How is he going to express the language, the vocabulary, the conduct, the humility, the confidence? All these things come up in that one question. It is just not very important what degrees you carry and a string of degrees you tell. They are least interested in that, because that we already gathered from your CV. This interview is to just see whether your CV and you match. So it is one question that they ask. Another question mostly asked in corporate sectors is, how do you see yourself 5 years hence? How do you see yourself 5 years hence? So they want to see whether you visualize something in your life, whether you have some dreams, and whether your dreams match with the reality. Are you grounded to the earth? So that is what they want to check. Are you going to be helpful for that institute, for that corporate sector, or for the private institution? They want to find out where you stand. So what is happening now? What would I like to happen? Then there are so many choice options. What are some options I might try? Now you are at a PG level. So after PG, you may go for some more degree. You may just stop abruptly there and go for some side degree, which is not through your mainstream. You may do something in management. You may do something in paramedical. You may do something in linguistics. Or you may just stop and go for a job because parents need it, family needs it. You may think of going abroad, or you may just forget all that you did and start afresh. So you have to ask, what are the options available to me now? What options have I tried so far? Because in my life, I have come across so many options, but have I tried something? And if yes, what are the pros and cons? What are the benefits and pitfalls of these options? Whether or not I have tried them. When I have those options, I have to ask myself, what are the positive things that happened there? What are the negative things that happened there? So, what are some options I might try? What options have I tried so far? And what are the benefits and pitfalls of these options? If you remember that slide which I showed you of the variety of sweetmeats, the sweet dishes or desserts you may call, when I have those options, and if I have tried all those, then my decision today will change. Because in spite of that variety, if somebody tells me that out of these four, you are supposed to choose only one, then my previous experience, my previous taste is going to help me to take a decision what I should choose. Other thing is, if I had some bad experience after one of those sweet dishes, I had some tummy upset, then that is going to tell me to avoid that dish. So instead of the dish, that's just a metaphor. Instead of the dish, you think of anything in life. So many options are there. So when you have so many options, have I tried something before? Yes or no? And whether tried or not tried, whatever is available to me today, can I very objectively think of the advantages, disadvantages, the pros, the cons, the benefits, the pitfalls? As I said earlier, it is very easy to take a decision when there are equally opposite things, equally strong and opposite, good, bad, beautiful, ugly, moral, immoral, ethical, unethical. Then it is very easy to choose. But then when there are five good things, how do you choose? When you have 10 friends who are so dear to your heart, how do you choose one? That's the problem. And for that, we have to go through a proper rigorous exercise mentally. Because when you make choices, there are three options left. How do you select? That three options I'll tell you. So when you are going to choose from the options, you have to find out what specific personal effort is necessary to make my choice or options happen, and who and what is needed to make this happen. What is the timeline? Before we discuss those questions, let me come back and tell you about selecting the option, how to make the proper choice. We'll talk about the plan later. When you make choices, you have actually only three choices. What are the choices when you have options given? One is if you are not at all convinced, or if the option offered to you is not at all relevant to the situation and to your life, to your nature, to your aptitude, to your attitude, then you have to leave it. You have to just leave it. Second, if you think it is in some way or the other favorable to you, easy, smooth going, then you accept it. And third, that is what we are talking today about. The third is we don't just go by that mundane routine life. When we see that the option cannot be left, the option is not really acceptable, then why not change it? Have the guts, have the daring, have the courage to change it. You need to change the option and prepare your own plans. And when you thus make your plans, you have to understand that, as one of my school teachers used to tell us, that ideas have no legs and hands. Mother Nicholas was my principal in school, a Swiss lady, but very much in love with India. She used to tell us in the class that ideas have no legs and hands. So when we make some options for life and you take up that as an idea, that idea is not going to materialize on its own. We have to do something for it. We have to take efforts. We have to labor for it. We have to sweat. So, what is the personal effort necessary to make this work? I have to ask. Just choosing an option is not enough. After choosing the option, I should know how to work for it. What are the things that will make me eligible to take that option and go ahead? And next, it is always better to work in teams. Even if you see the symbols on every slide on the right side and below there, you realize that all the symbols also speak. Life is not to be walked alone. Man is a social animal. So when you make a decision, it affects you, it affects your siblings, it affects your parents, it affects your society, it affects the nation. Why? It affects the entire mankind. We are a part of a big cobweb, a big internet of life. Internet is a word that has come now. But in Indian culture, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is the concept, where the whole world is a web. All individuals, organisms, and not only that, it is just not about the living components. The living and the non-living, all are webbed together. That is the concept that India talks about. So if that is so, then if I move, something with me moves. If somebody else moves, with them I also move, knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally. So if I have to pave my way as a human being, I have to work in a context of a society, context of a nation, context of mankind. So you have to find out what is needed to make this happen. So I need people, I need situations, I need the environment to make this happen. And therefore, my choice should also blend with that. Then it is not a wrong choice. Then it is not a wrong option selected. Not only that, I cannot dream forever and just go on walking without reaching any destination. Therefore, the next question is, what is the timeline? When do I achieve it? Though we in the colleges, there are many people who have gone through 80 KTs sometime, but there's a limit to that. You at some time you want to be a graduate and get out of the system. You want to get a post graduation in 2 years and do something more. And if you go on delaying, if you go on postponing things, then life is not worthwhile and it will affect your entire life pattern. So that is also very important. So we need to have plan. We need to have a plan. And there's a nice quotation which says that plan out your work and then work out your plan. So plan out your work first and then work out your plan. To plan out that work, I need to make rigorous, thoughtful decisions. Choices should be made first. And then start over. If your choice is correct, if you have gone through the exercise again and again, trying to re-empower self and tell yourself that yes, I have taken the right decision, then after you evaluate the results of choice, then start working on it. If you think that something is wrong, go back without feeling bad. Go back, start over again, and come with a new decision, come with a new choice, and start. If you do that with yourselves, that experiment will bring less and less depression, dejection, frustration in our life. Because we accept that we may commit mistakes. We accept that it is a part of life to do this and go ahead. Blunders are always welcome because blunders teach better sometimes than successes. What we did in the past few slides is this: crossroads. We discussed crossroads. This is, I found something from on the net and then I modified it to my presentation. It is from Great Expectations. There is one site on www.greatexpectations.org. On this, I found this idea and I developed on this. So if you find time later, you can visit that site and read more. So I like this idea. C for choice, R for reality, O for options, S for selecting the options, and S for start over at the crossroads. So if you take this as a message, then it is very easy to take decisions at crossroads. And there is no harm at being at a crossroad, because at a crossroads is the right time for us to discover ourselves, to reinvent ourselves, to recharge ourselves, to refresh ourselves. And when we do that, then life will become much more meaningful and beautiful. And the old past will remain where it was, but you can use that as a springboard and go for a better future. So, though whenever you speak in the language, we say at a crossroads, it talks of dilemma, it talks of confusion, it talks of a negativity. Look at it in a positive way and take it as a station in life where you are supposed to halt. Just as in the parade, they are marching and marching, marching and on. And suddenly the commander says, halt. And everybody at a standstill within a second. And then till the next command is heard, everybody stands there. That is the way we need to do with ourselves, with our thoughts. Our thoughts are streaming, flowing, gushing every moment. Even now, as I speak, each one of you has so many thoughts in their mind. I have so many other thoughts gushing in my mind as I speak. But somewhere you have to damn those. You have to just halt them for a moment and allow that entire vigorous movement, the dynamism to stop for some time. Let it settle, calm down. Never take major decisions in life when you are confused. Never take decisions in life when you are very angry. Never take decisions in life when you are jealous of somebody. Never take decisions in life when you are yourself in total abyss and complacent mood, and you're lousy and lazy because your energies have gone down. And for future, we require energetic bodies, energetic minds, positive minds. So always allow the mind to be steady and calm, and the decision will just come up. It will just surface in our minds. Then you once you get that decision in your mind, reinforce it and reinvest yourself and start walking. When you are at a crossroads, which gives you a choice of being in the comfort zone or challenge, most of us, most of the times, would prefer the comfort zone. Whatever is smooth, whatever is frictionless, whatever has minimum obstacles, whatever has no hurdles, I prefer that in life. That is how we go in life. But because of that, we lose on two things. One thing is we never confront challenges of the nature. Thrown to nature, we will come to know how we have to face nature. And the second component we lose on is we become weak because we are not giving an opportunity to our body and to our mind to fight adversities, to adapt with adversities, to combat adversities, to overcome adversities. So it is good whenever we are at a crossroads, instead of selecting the comfort zone, preferably select the zone which is challenging us. Challenges in life are like treks. Mountain treks are a beautiful metaphor for our own lives. Sea voyages, mountain treks, jungle trails, all these are symbolic. In life too, we are sometimes in the thought processes on high mountains. We are sometimes having a lot of difficulties, mountain like difficulties in life. We are having the rash sea, the violent sea lashing us left and right, the waves. And we are sometimes lost in a jungle with no direction, not even a ray of light, the vegetation all stinky. But that if we can cross with courage, with conviction, then that is the real test for us. So adventures are welcome in life. Challenges are welcome in life. But as we go along, there are so many obstacles sometimes. So I like these two quotations which I'm sharing with you. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. Who said that? Henry Ford. So if your eyes are fixed on the destination, how will you see something on the way? That is the meaning. How would you see something that is blocking your way? Because your eyes are directly towards the destination. And Enid Blyton, one English author, she writes, the best way to treat obstacles is to use them as stepping stones. Laugh at them, tread on them, and let them lead you to something better. So use the obstacle as an opportunity. Use calamities as challenges. In the next two slides, we will try to just sum up. And I request all of you here, especially the students, to now really try to introspect with every sentence that I would speak now and what is there on the bullets on the slides. First, listen to your inner voice. What does that mean? All of us have something called as a conscience. And unknowingly or knowingly, we sometimes listen to it and sometimes follow it. But often we miss on the messages. Actually, even our body gives signals. There is no need to go to some doctor sometimes. Your body tells you that something is wrong, something is upset. It can be something with your tummy, it can be your muscle ache, it can be feeling of drowsiness, it can be the body temperature. Nature has given us these symptoms to track something wrong within our body. That's why when you visit a medical practitioner, He asks you the symptoms and then he will diagnose and find out the cause. We never tell the doctor the cause. What we tell is symptoms. Now, body, but beyond the body, there is something called as mind and the intellect, which is much more subtle. And from there, you can sometimes hear some voice coming and telling you, do this, don't do this. So you have to listen to that call. If you listen to that call, then half the problems, more than half the problems of life can be solved. Once you hear that inner voice in you about career, about life's decisions, about your own nature, about your aptitudes, then you follow your passion. Each one has some passion. Everybody is not interested in science. Everybody is not interested in commerce. Everybody is not interested in arts. And why should they be? That's why in college also you have a variety of activities. So you select whatever you want. All of them don't have the aptitude to go for NSS. All of them do not have the aptitude and the physical ability to go for NCC. All of them do not want to sit in the library. So we are unique. There are some of us who are having a combination of all this. But whatever it is, you have to find out your own passion, what you like. What is it that you would like to do, irrespective of what happens? Forgetting your hunger, forgetting your sleep, forgetting your body ache. What is it that you would like to pursue? That is your passion. So that capital P for passion is more important than the next three capital P's: parents, peers, and people. Avoid getting influenced by the three P's. We are not disowning our parents. We are not showing ingratitude and disrespect to our parents. What I'm just trying to say here is that don't get under the influence of the parental guidance always. You have grown. Now you are out of the cocoon. We all have our own wings. Flap your wings. Don't sit on the shoulders of the parents now. They have carried you enough. Now you are at PG. Now it is time that we carry our parents on our shoulders and take care of them. So when we take decisions in life also, yes, parental coaching is essential. Parental experience is undoubtedly essential because experience has taught them so many things in life. So from their experience, we can be cautious about taking steps in life. It can be like a pre-warning. So parental coaching, parental guidance, nobody is opposing. But see that your passion, the fire in you is going up. Peers are friends. There are many students across the years I have seen that they select a particular subject for their graduation because my friend is there, because she is there, because he is there. No. And after the third year BSc, then they realize, oh, I made a mistake. Yet she or he had companionship of the friend for 3 years, fine. But that was not a good decision from the career point of view. So see that you don't get influenced. Your friendship can still remain. If it is true friendship, it doesn't have to be that you sit in the class together, that you run courses together. You don't have to take courses together for that. So, and people stands for society. Depending on the cultural background that we come from, sometimes the cultural background also sits on our neck and makes you take some decisions. Be strong enough to shirk off that. Be strong enough to shirk off and stand on your feet with your own conviction. That's why comes the next point: believe in yourself. Swami Vivekananda always said that you may not believe in 33 crores of gods, throw them into the sea, but believe in yourself. Stand for your convictions. There is no need to read Bhagavad Gita. You play football and just become strong. You want strong muscles. We want strong faith. Faith in not God, faith in yourself. So believe in yourself. That's why I said this session is more like an introspective session. This is not an entertaining session. Actually, this is what you are thinking with me, and I am trying to identify with you. So believe in yourself. Second is believe in your dreams. Vivekananda believed in himself. So after 150 years also, we still remember him. Believe in your dreams. We are so fortunate to have a president in our times like APJ Abdul Kalam, who taught us to dream, who taught us to ignite our minds. So you have to dream. Because mankind dreamt, we went on the moon. because mankind dreamt to explore the space. We are trying to reach the Mars. We are trying to reach other planets. We are going to the depths of the sea. So if that is a mega picture, even for my own life, I need to dream. I need to dream and go ahead. And then it has to be supplemented with your abilities. So believe in your abilities. I can expand myself and grow and try to bring my dreams to become true. Learn to accept failures and learn from failures. My observation over the last few years is, because of lot of overprotection of children by parents, and children also becoming very fussy about any trifle things, and parents don't want a friction at home, they go on satisfying every need and greed of the child. So the child is so used to that in life too further, this child is not able to take failures because he has never heard no. But life is a combination of yes and no. In life, everything is not yes, and neither is in life everything no. If you really want to understand what we are trying to say here, how failure also is important. If there was no failure, we would not have understood the meaning of success. If there was no darkness, light would not have its significance. So there has to be something. And that failure, there is a quotation which says that it is not in falling down. Failure is not in falling down. Failure is in staying where you have fallen. So let us get up and learn from that failure. There's a wonderful story about Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison had created a own laboratory, and due to some mishap, one day that entire laboratory was burnt and down to ashes. And as the flames grew and grew, Edison stood there and watched that disaster with the composure. Surprising. His son was next to him. And Edison tells his son, "Where is your mother? Quickly bring her here. Let her see this incident, this scene, which she will never get to see in our lifetime." And everything was into ashes. Next day, Edison sat jotting points for his future work. And that time he said to his colleagues that one good thing has happened. All my mistakes have been destroyed with this fire. So I can start afresh with new experiments in my new laboratory. He used to call it as the innovative factory. That is learning from failure. That is accepting failure. And we know what a contribution Edison has made to science. So learn to accept failures and learn from failures. Do not miss opportunities. Sometimes we say that, oh, bad luck, I never got to do this, I never got to do this. But we never know that opportunities are knocking at the door every day, every moment. We forget to open the door. We forget to open the door. Opportunity is at the doorstep. My father used to tell me one quotation. I don't remember whose it was, but he used to say that once one great person was asked that, "Sir, what is the secret of your success?" So he said, "I jump at every opportunity." And the press reporter was a brilliant young man, very witty. He immediately asked, "But sir, how do you know that there is an opportunity?" So the great person replied, "I am always jumping." If you're always jumping, if you're always alert, if you're always self-aware, then you will not miss opportunities. So we have to be aware. We have to be available. The sun is there, the sun has risen, but the doors and windows of my home are closed. How will the sun rays enter? So I have to open the shutters of my life. I have to keep my mind open to accept the flow of light, the flow of goodness, the flow of inspiration. I have to be open for it. Be optimistic. How optimistic is optimistic? I would just love to tell you a small story, very briefly. There were two men, quite old, and they had served the army for a long time, and both were in a very critical situation, admitted in the same hospital, in the same ward, in the same room, and a lot of complications. One of those was very much next to the window, and this patient was allowed during the whole day to just sit upright for 1 hour, just so that he could have the lung pressure properly set, he could inhale and exhale, and then lie down again. The second patient was much more critical. He had to continuously lie down on the second bed. But they used to converse with each other. Every day, when this person at the window sat upright, he used to go on loudly sharing with his friend what he saw out of the window. The beautiful scenery outside, the pond over there, the ducks waddling there, paddling there, and the young ducklings moving, the variety of greenery there, the beautiful flowers, lovers going arm in arm on the road, and all the giggling on the streets, the colorful ladies going around. All that is to describe the birds in the sky, the flashes of colors during sunrise and sunset, whenever it was. And the second person is to just close his eyes and listen to this narration, and he is to visualize and enjoy. And that 1 hour was the best for both of them. It went on for days and weeks. And suddenly one day, the person at the window died. The nurses and staff came and wound up the body and then shifted this patient, the second patient, to the window. And he had to lie down again. But he asked the nurses, could you just hold me for a minute and let me look out of the window? And he elbowed himself at the window sill and tried to look out, just to see what his friend was describing over this whole month, weeks and days. And when he saw out, he saw it was just a flat, blank, whitewashed wall. There was nothing. It was the next compound, only the wall there. And this patient looked at the nurses and doctors and said, but my friend is to describe all that from there. Then they told him with tears in their eyes, my dear friend, the patient sitting at that window never saw anything outside. Not just because that wall was whitewashed and there was just a wall, but because that person himself was blind. He never saw anything. But whatever he lived, that optimism he created for himself and he shared with the people around. That is called as optimism, that level of optimism. So can we do that with our lives? We are not in such a bad tragedy as those people. So for that, we need to have the strength to change, be willing to change. I need to change. We always resist from change. We are used to routines. We are used to the mundane life. We don't want to change our habits throughout the day and throughout our lives. So we need to change. Once we take that daring decision to change, then change will lead to transformation. Baba Amte always says that never compete with others, compete with yourself. You should be today different from what you are yesterday, and you should be tomorrow different from what you are today. That is transformation, and inner transformation. Clothing is not transformation. Etiquettes is not transformation. Those are things which have come from outside. Are they necessary? Yes. For a social life, yes. But values that come from inside, it should be like blooming of a flower. The fragrance comes from inside. Let the breeze carry it. The flower just blooms, gives it beautiful colors, and gives the scent around. Let us learn to transform ourselves. So when you are at the crossroads, when you are at a crossroads in life, that's a nice opportunity to contemplate, to look within ourselves once. Now I'm going to conclude this presentation with a poem, and in between I'm just going to show you one slide to acknowledge each and every one who, from where I got these sources of pictures, because that is the culture we all have to develop. All these pictures I have borrowed from the internet, and though it may not be readable to you, but every slide, wherever there are pictures, I have tried to acknowledge the references or links from where I got this information, especially the pictures. And few slides were totally my own creation, which I have through the ages, through the years of my growth, I borrowed from books or heard great speakers or teachers, and that has now been processed in my own mind and come out. So that those slides are not acknowledged here. but all the other slides. So we go to the last two slides, and after that, I won't speak anything. I'll be ending with a poem. The poem we learnt in school days was written by Robert Frost. The road not taken. The road not taken. You can see a person standing here at a crossroads where there are two pathways, and he stands there in a dilemma which to choose. Robert Frost writes the poem on this theme. And there is, as we started, if you go back to the first point of my lecture today, of this session today, we said that there are pathways which are linear and simple pathways with not much hurdles. They too have hurdles, no doubt, but not as many as you choose something out of the way. So here, Robert Frost talks of this journey where people have been taking the road of life, the journey of life, in the regular routine manner, and somehow he did not do that, and he's happy about it. So I'll read that poem, and that would be the conclusion of this session. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden back. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, two roads diverged in a wood, and and I, I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. And that has made all the difference. And that has made all the difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for giving number of tips at a crossroads by showing perfect presentation to our students at perfect time. Your lecture was so inspiring and motivational that everyone was in position that it will not come to end. There are a number of take-home messages from today's lecture, like listen to your voice, follow your passion, avoid getting influenced by three P's like parents, peers, and people. Believe in yourself, believe in your dreams and your abilities. Really, so we are very fortunate to hear you in this platform. Thank you, sir. Thank you, students, for a patient hearing. I thank